Hey guys, welcome to Third Stall Garage. My name is Doug. This channel is about the restoration of a 66 Mustang convertible called VIN. This will be episode 17, and I am working in the first time at assembling the front of the car, which would include the headlight buckets, fender extensions, lower valance, stone guard, to see if it all fits together, to test my fitment of everything. If that all works, then it all comes back off and it's time to weld all the sheet metal in. Stay tuned and see how it goes. First thing I want to talk about is something I mentioned a couple episodes ago, and that was the challenge of when you're putting something together for the very first time, especially when you bought it in boxes. I don't have the bolts. I don't know what bolts are supposed to go where or what they look like, and that's a challenge. Here's my solution to it. It was a little pricey, but I am super glad. I'll chalk this up for a little bit of an educational expense. I think this is going to be a huge help for me. Take a look. So I bought from National Parts Direct. They have a Michigan office, and Canton, Michigan, National Parts Depot. When I've worked with them in the past, they've been great to work with, helpful on the phones, have not had any problems with delivery. I've also ordered from CJ Pony. Again, I haven't had problems from CJ either. I know there's a lot of talk online about it, but I bought from NPD a master body assembly kit. NPD item number 0001-2K. Master body assembly kit, and it comes with 446 bolts for assembling the car, and it is thorough. Every box, every bag is labeled very carefully. Bumper guards, trunk lid and hinges, grille lower support, door latch strikers, headlamp doors, hood latch support brackets, headlamp adjusters, hood latch support. This is awesome. And they're all labeled. They're concourse correct. I don't have to worry about getting the wrong bolts in the wrong place. And this cost me $309 plus tax, came out to $327, which is like, I think about 75, 80 cents a bolt, which is more than what you would pay at the hardware store. But again, it comes with all the special washers you need and spacers for the bumper brackets, specific things for headlight adjusters. You've got hood levelers. So, they're not just hardware store bolts either. So this is really helping me know what needs to go back together. All right, so now back to topic. Today I'm working on installing the headlight buckets on the front. I've noticed both of mine have the Ford logo on them, and which makes me think they're original parts. This one's in pretty good shape. It does have a crack there, possibly a small crack down here, or maybe it was cast that way. This one's not in too bad a shape. It's broken out here, and this bolt hole's kind of rusted, and that bolt hole's a little bit rusted, but overall not too bad. It's nice to have original parts on it. The other one, not so much. This bolt hole is cracked out. This bolt hole is so big I had to put a washer on to get it. This whole section is broken off here. And I've got cracks all the way down here and a crack all the way down there as well. It would be great to save it if at all possible, but I'm not sure that's possible with this one. So I may have to buy reproduction. If anybody out there has a passenger side one that they're looking to get rid of, that would be great. Or suggestions as to ways to fix that. I do not have this piece anymore. I have heard that the look of the aftermarket is a little bit different than the stock ones, so it'd be nice to have it matched side to side. But again, I don't expect that that's huge. But got this one in, time to mount this one second, and then I'm gonna work on putting the lower valance in. So we'll see how that goes. Here's the valance that came with my car. As I mentioned, looks like there was some rust here. There's quite a few dings. The flange along the bottom is gonna have to get bent back out. Got a little bit of a crack here, and that's got to get bent back up. Bunch of ripples, small dent here. But, you know, mainly tonight, I'm not going to work on trying to fix this yet. I just want to get this to the point where I can mount it on the front. It will be one of the key things that ties my two sides together, the bottom fender here and the bottom fender over there. That will verify that the bottom of my fenders are in approximately the right spot. And then I can start putting the stone guard in, and these are the last things that I want to verify. So I'm not quite so concerned about how it looks. This tab here and here are a little bit mangled. I wasn't sure if the bolts went from the front to the back or the back to the front. So this valance had these clips installed here, which tells me that the bolt goes, the head of the bolt will go through the bottom of the front fender into this nut that's clipped onto the valance. This also gives me the size. So when I go to my valance bolt set, I know now that these are the ones that I need to use. So before I put this on, I'm gonna put those clips on here. Before I put the clips on here, I'd like to flatten these slightly. So I'm gonna use a hammer and dolly and try to straighten that out a touch. It's a hammer and dolly set that I bought off eBay very affordably. Let me find the other piece. These two sets came with it. This one's flat on this side, slightly crowned here with a radius to it. Also, there's this guy that's been useful several times. They're very heavy, so they're steel on the inside, but they have a rubber surface. So I'm just gonna stick that behind there, hold it, flatten these out a touch. Looks a little better. Got a little lower as I held it. So I'm gonna bend that back up a touch. Like such. And then the clips that I set down somewhere. Well, looks like I'll edit this out. All right, so this clip, by the way, those guys that get super close-up shots where it's really easy to see how to do stuff, that's hard. It's hard to get the camera in the right spot. All right, so we're in the back of the valance now. Here's the little clips that come from the factory. These simply, real easily, not quite, slide on there. So the nut is on the valance side of the tab. There is almost a little lip or tang that sticks down right here, which makes it hard to get that the last little bit on. I found that it helps a bit if you can get a screwdriver in there to kind of pry that up a touch. And then you can get the clip to slide the rest of the way on. Got it a little bit off center. There's one. Now time for the other one. My furnace just kicked on. Sorry, that's a little loud. It's a cold night in Michigan. There, number 2 is on. I'm gonna do these same 2 to the other end, and then we'll see how it fits on the car. This This is pretty cool. The valance mounted, lower valance. As I mentioned, this thing's in rough shape, but you know, I can work on that. The bolts are not tight. They're just basically finger tight, but you know, it fits from that side. This side doesn't fit too bad. I'm sure there's a lot of adjustment there that can happen. I'm assuming that's a mounting point there. And then we have one here as well that maybe that needs to go in like such. I have 4 more screws and clips yet. So I'm not sure where those go. We'll have to figure that out. There is one, sorry, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm guessing those are where those other clips go, which might be to the stone guard. Let's see what happens next with that. My car did come with 2 stone guards. This one looks like it was sandblasted and painted. This hole is pretty mangled. There are clips in some of these sides, which are kind of twisted and bent. These 2 aren't too bad. Really crappy layer of primer on it. And then there's another one that looks like it was partially sandblasted. Has a hole here. One clip is mangled. These aren't too bad, so I don't know which is the better or worse of the 2. It does help, so I wonder what this is supposed to look like, and I can see on this one. So I'm gonna massage this one, flatten it out a little bit, and then see if we can get it mounted on the car. It's nice to see these clips in here though, because now I know what it's supposed to look like assembled. All right, we're gonna try to get this straightened out first. I'm just simply gonna lay it against the edge of my metal workbench and flatten her down. Not perfect, but pretty good. Next, I'm going to work on straightening these. I'm also going to just carefully take all these clips out and save them. I don't know why, other than I'd hate to throw something away later and wonder and regret it. This has a funky washer clip behind it that I don't know if that's supposed to be there or not. So I'm going to document that that's where it was as well, and then we'll try to fit this on. All right, so I worked on the valance, the rock guard, and it's in pretty decent shape. It's not perfect, but it's straight. The mounting tabs, I think, are all pointed in the right direction. Took the front's valance back off. This is the one that's in pretty rough shape. It's just really wavy. The edge is crimped over there. There's a dent here. This edge is kind of mangled. So I'm gonna just work on seeing what I can do to slowly work on improving this, and then I'm gonna mount it back up again. So I'm just gonna fiddle dink on the bench with it for a while. Front valance and stone guard is on. Pretty nice and solid. It is in rough shape. I think you can see all of the dents and waves in it. Let's Some kinks in here, might get hidden by the bumper. The top surface here is pretty good. Gets pretty wavy around the edge here. You know, this might be able to get fixed up as it attaches. Same on this side. It's almost crinkled like the pop bottle top. Then there's a few waves in here. You know, one of my dilemmas is I could just buy 2 new pieces and, you know, throw another couple $100 at it. And then I've got aftermarket pieces to try to fit. These are possibly aftermarket already, I don't know. Money's not unlimited. The more I save, the farther I can go on the project. I also have very little experience with body filler. Trying to fill that in and smooth it out. Is that gonna come out okay? Is it gonna be a real problem with Bondo? I don't know. I would love some advice on that because frankly, I'm into an area where I have very little knowledge. But I wanna go back to what my main point is in doing this tonight is not to make a decision about the front valance, but is to make sure that everything fits. And I'm really happy with the fact that the valance is on, the stone guard is on, the bottom of the grill, and everything's fitting together really well. That was my whole point, was to make sure that everything fit. Once I know that everything fits, then I can go back and start welding in the firewall and the fender aprons and the cowl and all that good stuff. All that stuff down there. So I'm gonna keep going a little farther. Maybe see if I can get the hood latch in. Try the buckets or the fender extensions for the headlights and just get the last little pieces I can before I start making any of this permanent. But I would love to hear your advice on this lower valance. The other piece that I would love your advice on is this hood. I originally said I was going to get rid of it because I wanted one with a scoop. You can buy aftermarket scoops that go on the top of the hood. But I've got little rust pinholes sticking through. Again, I'm very new to body work. So some of you, this piece would need to get patched in and welded in. I would love some of you to look at that and go, oh yeah, that will fill in with body work just fine. Or, nope, it's shot. You need to replace it. A little bit of rust there, a little bit of rust through there. And it looks like somebody welded something here at one time, which I'm sure could be cut out and cleaned up. So what are your thoughts on the hood? Save it or get rid of it. That's a pricey piece. Unless somebody wants to give me one. All right, thanks for watching. I'm gonna keep going on the front here. Hi, I am spent another evening working on the Mustang, and I am at what for me is a really monumental moment. When I got this car, I had to tear out way more sheet metal than I thought I would have to. Fender aprons, firewall, cowl, all of that ended up going out and ended up being a lot bigger job than I expected. Getting everything to fit back together before I weld all that in ended up being challenging, but I'm excited to show you where I am today. Everything fits. Now, I'm not saying it all fits perfectly. You know, as I mentioned before, my gaps aren't perfect, but they are close enough that I trust that the frame is straight, the fender aprons are in the right spot. There's a little bit of a crown to the hood yet, but everything is in. So the bumper is on, the lower valance, the stone guard, the headlight, the hood, the grill, the hood release mechanism, is in. I've got the other side put together. Hood release mechanism is in here. I also have the Monte Carlo bar and the export brace is in. And I feel really good about all of this. It feels like a huge hurdle's been accomplished. There's one more thing I'm gonna check. If you look at that spot right there, the fender apron does not meet the cowl perfectly. So I'm going to investigate just a touch more to see if the firewall needs to go down just a touch or whether the fender apron needs to go up just a touch, which I don't think it does because the fender's on top of it. Once I investigate that, and maybe it's just the way it is, and I need to do a little relief cut on the back and force it to fit and weld it. But once I figure out that, I'm gonna make sure that everything is screwed in with sheet metal screws. You can see one down there, one down there. Then I'm ready to take all this stuff back off again and start welding it in, which is gonna feel amazing. Thanks for watching this long, being part of the Third Stall Garage channel. Again, post a comment below. I appreciate any advice, particularly on the valance and the hood, some of that body work that I'm completely new to. I will next start tearing this apart, and hopefully my next videos will be about welding in some of the sheet metal, which is going to be exciting. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great night, guys. Bye.